Hey guys, today we are going to talk about the Dark Grim Reaper. We're talking about death today. Now, when I grew up in my house, my parents were very careful to keep the topic of death away from us. I'm an older mom. We're going to have to deal with this topic at an earlier age.
And because grandparents might be older and that sort of thing. In the old days, like when we were kids, they did. Like I remember my grandpa died when I was about 6, and we didn't get to go to the funeral. And
really?
I think we've done a big shift now. Like if somebody loses somebody, we have pictures of them everywhere. We talk about them. We try to keep them alive in our kids' memories, right?
One of the questions that my husband and I have had and talked to my parents about this is talking about death specifically. So if someone passes away, how do we explain to Maddie where they've gone? Because that will be her question, right? She doesn't understand it. She has no previous experience. So I said, because of the fact that I'm not a religious person, I don't know that I would tell her about heaven.
Right.
However, I think my dad raised a good point in that heaven is just a comforting place for children to believe in. And when she gets older, she can decide for herself.
Except, you will get into a thing is if a parent is dead set against heaven and your kid starts talking about heaven.
People shouldn't pick on kids, so shut up. If my kid believes in heaven, just let her believe.
Yeah, let them believe in what they want. Now, one thing that I started doing with my kids, and my kids are the oldest ones, I've got 3 teenagers and 3 younger ones. I actually bring them to a dress rehearsal funeral. And it might sound a little bit weird, but say one of my friends' parents dies or one of their friends' grandparents dies. So I try to bring them to a funeral of somebody that they're not particularly close to. So if we have to go to a funeral home and if there's an open casket, they get an understanding of what that is like.
Wow.
And then we go to the funeral and they understand what that looks like. I always do what does it sound like? What does it look like? How do you behave? What do we dress like? Just so that they learn some of the etiquette around funerals.
Yep.
Because it's a huge life skill.
People are going to come up to you and say, I'm really sorry. You're going to see a lot of hugging, a lot of crying, a lot of people sharing memories.
It's great because they're not that emotional.
Right.
So they're able to take a lot of lessons. And of course, for us, we do a lot of preparing before. And then afterwards, we, not to sound rude, but autopsy how we did.
Oh, wow.
So it'll be like, okay, what did you learn at the funeral? How do you think it would be? How would you react if that happened? And the big one for me is, did you notice how important it was for the person who had a loss that we were there? Did you see how meaningful that is? Because I'm a big believer in attending funerals. I'm going to 2 this week. You turn up because it's so meaningful for anyone who's ever lost somebody close. That person who you don't expect to be there is there.
Yeah. That's
right?
true. Yeah.
The other good sort of dress rehearsal point when it comes to funerals and dealing with death is pets.
Yeah.
Like pets are a dress rehearsal. Like when Goldie the goldfish dies.
Yeah.
That can be pretty. I had once quite a scene at my house when we had to flush a fish. Yeah.
We had a weasel when I grew up, and
who was a weasel?
So when Weasel died, which was no shock, taken away from his mother in his house. My parents told us we should have a funeral. So we had a funeral and we didn't know what to do. Thanks, Mom and Dad. No dress rehearsal. So we buried him in the backyard and we all sang "Oh Canada."
Oh, Canada. What a nice secular kind of funeral.
Very patriotic funeral. Yeah, he went down with a flag.
Weasel, such a Canadian.
So yeah, pets are a good dress rehearsal.
I think that's a good sign to say, see you next time. Dress rehearsal funerals. I'm a big fan. Thanks for tuning in, and make sure to check us again. And if you have not subscribed to, because you don't want to miss out on any of this dark fun.